I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, November the 22nd, brought to you in part by Joplin Regional Stockyards. Big yearling special here today, Monday, for the regular sale, having a yearling special. 12,000 head or more are going to be on offer with over 100 pot loads of yearlings. True yearlings, guys. And they're going to feature them late morning, right after the commingled sale, which they always feature on the high line there. But as soon as the commingled calves are sold, going to get right into the yearlings, and it'll just be string after string after load all day. They're selling those load lots of true yearlings. And some of you guys up north may say, well, those yearlings they get in Joplin, they're just not fancy enough for me. I'd rather feed the plainest load of yearlings than the fanciest fat calves that run to the other side of the pen and stand around ball, look at each other, waiting for their mother to show up. Then a hard yearling. These guys, these packers say that they want the best cattle out there. Well, now that this market's got up there, they're out there buying those plain cattle just as high as they are the fancy cattle, guys. And we really knew that was going to happen. They can talk all about, buying those cattle, with performance on them and the value-based marketing and all that they do. Well, they just handle the supplies most of the time, and then they just come in and cream the top of the market on what they should be paying for all the cattle. But now that they've got short of cattle, they're running around there buying plain cattle, looking over the fence, asking these feedlot guys, why aren't those cattle on the show list? They look like they're about done. And, and they show their true colors whenever they get short like they are right now. But don't forget about that Joplin special. Get on to dvauction.com. You need to call before the sale. If they've never heard of you, you're likely not going to be able to start just bidding online, in the middle of the sale. Call before the sale. Call Joplin Regional Stockyards. Establish some relationship there with them. Tell them you want to get online and you want to be approved to bid, and you can get on there and buy you some yearling cattle that you'll like pretty well and will feed like crazy. Big market trade and harvest this past week. I mean, it's just a rock and roll week. We had a record-breaking week the week before as far as the highest fat cattle prices we've seen in a year. We've seen the biggest movement that we've seen in a year as far as volume of trade in a direct basis, mostly in the 5-area feeding region. But this past week blew all the doors off of that deal. So even bigger week this past week. But lots of stuff went on, lots of news out there. We saw all three of your trade associations, your big cattle trade associations, get together and agree that they support banning Brazilian imports, at least until they get these BSE cases and things straightened up. And then we also saw John Tester from Montana, a Democrat, introduce legislation to ban imports of Brazilian beef until they get things kind of straightened up there. So that was pretty good. We saw the compromise bill, the bill between the 5014 and the Cattle Market Transparency Act of Deb Fisher's. We've seen that compromise bill get formally introduced on the Senate floor there. Of course, we saw RCAF come out against it. They reject it immediately because it's not aggressive enough for them. We haven't heard what NCBA thinks about it yet. They haven't really made a statement on what they think about the compromise bill. But we did see last week where NCBA finally come out with the results of their third quarter investigation on how the trade was going, and if we're getting enough transparency in the market and enough negotiated trade. And indeed, we hit 3 minor triggers, which tripped a major trigger, which they'd had a major trigger already. So all this trigger talk gets kind of confusing. But if NCBA does what they say they were going to do about trying to get a free trade in this cattle business, they are going to support some type of legislative or regulatory fix to do that. Well, here this bill is, this compromise bill that we've had a lot of people sweating over and going through and trying to get support for. They had support for the 5014, they had support for the Cattle Market Transparency Act. Now they've got all that coming together to support this, and if we fight them off of this, well, we're likely not to ever get another one of these lawmakers to answer the phone for us, because we've told them what we wanted, they went and saw what they could get, they brought it back to us, and we got people that are fighting it. And if we don't fight it, it's likely going to get attached to reauthorization of mandatory price reporting, and it's going to go right through. And this is likely going to happen before NCBA makes their mind up, because they're going to wait until they get all their members together in Houston in February before they decide what they're going to do. I don't know why they can't have a conference call or something like that, like everybody else, but they're going to wait until then, and likely we will have either gotten or will have lost any chance to get any type of a legislative thing. But if NCBA would tip the scales, it would be a shoo-in, and we'd sure like to see that. What else did we see? Late last week we saw that Kyle Rittenhouse kid from Wisconsin was found not guilty of wasting ammunition. And so we were glad to see that. Most of us that are level-headed, it gave us some confidence once again that there's still a few more of us than there are of them. And by that I say a few more level-headed people that can see right from wrong when it's presented to them, and if they get a fair read on that, then you'll see who comes out on top. And I think that restored a little bit of confidence in a lot of us that think that way. We also saw the announcement that American Food Groups is going to build a new packing plant in the greater St. Louis area. That was big news. And so that's going to be a major, major deal. Not a little plant, going to be a big plant. For the most part, they're going to slaughter cows there, which is good. We need all the cow slaughter we can get. Should help the market there. They're going to buy a lot of those cows in the auction market, so that's good. They're going to buy a lot of that in-between stuff. You know, maybe some heiferettes and this and that, and they hope to do some harvesting of steers and heifers too. So, but that'll be a one that helps trade a little bit. A lot of these other plants that we're hearing talk about, they're likely going to be set up like U.S. premium beef, where the investors get shares which they can either sell or trade to other people, or those shares will give them the right to harvest their cattle in that plant. Which, you know, that's good deal for them, and that U.S. premium beef has been very successful, and they've made a lot of money there. But it's not going to give us a whole lot more transparency in the market. It's not like they're going to run out to different feedlots and start bidding on cattle. But it's going to sop up some of the extra supply out there and going to make it tougher on your big four. And you've seen the North American Meat Institute, the trade association for the mob packers. They've come out and said, "Oh, guys, you guys don't know what you're getting into here. You guys don't want to be getting into this packing business. You're gonna really muddy the water for us, and we're not going to be able to make $2,500 a head whenever we get these black swan deals like the pandemic come in, and you know, there's not going to be enough supplies." Yeah. Likely, whenever we get some of those plants opened, if they get opened within the next couple of years, they're going to open up right when the supplies are the absolute tightest, and then they're going to have a hard time making those plants work. Of course, there's enough gravy there, but I guarantee you, those big four packers will be just as ruthless or more on selling the beef. Fighting against these new plants coming in, selling to their customers. They'll be more ruthless on that end than they are trying to steal everybody's cattle. And you can mark my words on that. They'll get down there and they'll sell below the cost of production if they need to. That'll be great for the consumers. And there's going to be more demand for the cattle, and we're going to be short of supplies. We've killed all of our cows. I've told you guys several times that our beef cow slaughter is up 20% this year to date compared to the average of the last 5 years. That's gigantic. The beef heifer slaughter is up 11% this year to date compared to the average of the last 5 years. So we're going to be extremely tight on cattle here when you go a couple of 3 years down the line, and that's probably when some of these are going to open. I hope they're able to withstand it and stay in there, and then we can have a good competitive market to go forward. But you know, they're jumping into a pretty risky business there. But let's talk about your board for last week. Live cattle contracts, December contract, Monday was down 35, Tuesday down a nickel, Wednesday was up 50, Thursday up 92 when we saw the bulk of the trade, and Friday up 37, with December live cattle ending the week at 133.52, up $1.40 for the week. February 137.70 ending the week, and that was up $1.60. Feeder cattle, we lost the November contract, or it went off the board at 155.92. That went off on Thursday. It seemed a little early this month, but that's just the way it fell. But your January contracts for feeder cattle, Monday was up 75, Tuesday was up 80, Wednesday was down 35 cents, Thursday up 245 on the big day there, and then Friday off 45 cents with some profit taking there. January feeder cattle contracts ended the week at 160.92, up 320 for the week. March will be the next one out that we look at. It ended the week at 163.37. Your fat cattle trade through Thursday, 93,900 head in your 5-area feeding region. And then we had some more trade on Friday, and there was probably more that didn't get turned in. We're going to top 100,000 and likely top what we got you know, the last week, and so that's going to be good. If we can keep it around 100,000 here, especially as tight as our supplies on, that makes a pretty robust market, is what the term is that we like. But be anxious to see how many we get all together totaled up here, and I'll give that to you on our next visit. But through Thursday, sales of steers and heifers live basis 127 to 135. That was fully $2 higher than the previous week. Your weighted average on live steers 133.01. Your dressed steer and heifer price range was 207 to 211, fully $3 higher. And your weighted average on dressed steers was 209.59, up through Thursday. And then Friday we had we gained another $1 for the most part. So we didn't get a whole lot of trade on Friday, but your market is peaked at the end of the week, and we are just going to continue to add. And I told you guys, if we ever blew by that 130, we'd just go on, and that's exactly what's happened. But you look at your 5-area region on Friday, we're even getting information printing out of Colorado. I'll tell you how bleak the trade is in Colorado, and you guys have been up there in northeastern Colorado. There's a lot of feedlots, a lot of feedlots all the way up and down the eastern side of Colorado. They sold 600 head confirmed on Friday, only 1,200 head for the week. No wonder we don't get that information printed because of confidentiality very much. But all your live sales on Friday were at 135. We'd only seen one deal or two hit 135 up until that point anywhere. And 135 was your price. That's another $1 there. Iowa, about 800 head confirmed on Friday, 33,500 head for the week, which is a good movement. 133 to 135 on Friday, 210 dressed. Nebraska, 2,500 on Friday, and there's likely more out there that they didn't get rounded up. 38,800. They had about 40,000 the previous week, so we're getting right back in there again. Negotiated, pure negotiated cash, not some kind of a grid deal with kickers. But live price 134 to 135 in Nebraska, 210 dressed. Kansas only about 500 head on Friday, 15,000 for the week. Live price 134 to mostly 135. Texas just had a few loads there on Friday, 10,000 head for the week. We haven't yet seen the 135 in Texas, but we've got 134 paid on Friday, and we're on the upswing. They're actually bringing cattle from the northern feedlot areas down to your southern plants, not because of the supply differences, but they're wanting some more of those choice carcasses from up there. They're walking them down here or bringing them on trucks, which trucks are short for everything, including fat cattle. But they're sending some of those better cattle down here into your southern plains plants just to kind of keep it evened out a little bit. Box beef cutout values, weighted average on all of last week's sales. Choice 279.67. That was down 661 from the previous week, and we're just kind of in a Thanksgiving lull right here. Everybody's talking about turkey and ham and all kinds of fowl, and that's where your specials are at, and that's just kind of the way that is. But late week on Friday afternoon, they were even lower than that 279.67, a little more than a buck at 278.41. Selects, your weighted average on all of last week's sales, 264.98, or right at 265. That was down 355 compared to the weighted average from the previous week. And your late Friday sales, or Friday afternoon, was about $1 lower than that at 263.83. Pretty good movement though, 757 loads of cuts, grinds, and trimmings. Your slaughter was huge. 677,000 with a 69,000 head Saturday. That's big. That's bigger than what they were expecting, and that goes to show you why they're getting so aggressive out there in the country. They're just scrambling. They've got obligations to fill, and they're trying to keep things going as well as they can. But that 677,000 estimated slaughter for last week, 22,000 more than the previous week, and 11,000 more than the same week a year ago. Let's talk about what else is going on. My good buddy Steve Hashey from Lake Preston, South Dakota, but he can help you anywhere, and he's on the phone all the time. He can help you out with your insurance needs, whether they be life insurance as an investment that you can borrow back to run your operation through. I really encourage you guys to give him a call about that. They're very impressive, different strategies he has there. Crop insurance, he does a whole lot of that. That's where he's got the most experience, but also can help you out in these livestock policies. He was in the purebred business. You know, he's run commercial cattle, he's farmed, he's done just about everything, so he knows just enough to be dangerous there. But PRF policies, pasture range and forage, if you want one of those to insure against drought, you need to get that done this month, guys. So don't dilly-dally around. You don't have much time, and then you got a holiday in there, so you better get with it. Livestock risk protection, he can help you out with those. Go to his Facebook, Hashey Insurance, or go to HasheyInsurance.com and give Steve a call. How about your feeder cattle market? Your real-time index on DV auction ended the week based on an 800-pound steer and all the sales, and we got a lot of volume in there. 155.76. That was $1.72 higher than the end of the previous week, and that makes sense because your trends and your sales on feeder cattle going right into the feedlot. Be some big calves in there too, but mostly the yearlings that we have left. Steady to $3 higher. There ought to be a smoky sale at Joplin on that big special with all those yearlings. But calves were $3 to $6 higher, especially late in the week. And I'm going to give you some quotes here you won't believe. But you know, calves selling really good right in the face of the fall calf run. So that, you know, it's good. I mean, it's we can always complain about the market conditions and all this. We can't complain too much about last week. Pretty damn good, guys. If you don't see a market in there somewhere you like, you're just getting too hard to please. And then, you know, you can be kind of one group there that's never happy with what they get. But tell you what, it's pretty darn good last week. That doesn't mean take your foot off the gas on gaining market position. It doesn't mean giving up on minimum negotiated cash trade or truth in labeling or getting the Brazilian beef imports banned or any of that kind of stuff. It just means you should be encouraged by this good market that we have whenever the supply and demand things curves get right for us, and we're still able to hold it, and it's very refreshing right now. But I'm going to give you several quotes from all around the circuit. How about Fort Scott, Kansas? They had a good sale there on Saturday, always do. 8 to 900 pound load lots of steers. You can see right here, bring 157.75 to 163. That one long string must have been pretty plain because they sold off the market a little bit there, but awful strong on those slick load lots there. I was out in Nevada livestock marketing in Fallon, Nevada over the weekend. We sold all day Friday and Saturday till we got done. That kind of reminds me of the way Amarillo livestock used to be when I was a kid, all day Monday, all day Tuesday and Wednesday till they got done. But their monthly special out there in Fallon, Nevada, Jack Payne put on a good sale there, and I was glad to be able to go out and help auctioneer. We sold a lot of cattle on DV auction. You know, we always hear about the bull sales and things like that. A lot of commercial buyers buying on DV auction in the sale barns, guys. We can set y'all up. That's what we do. And so we sold nearly a quarter of the sale online, coming back to the middle part of the country there out of Nevada livestock marketing, and it really adds to the trade and keeps things you know, hot and going in an active market. So if you guys don't have online bidding and it's 2021, you know, why are you still in the Stone Age or what? Don't tell me you don't have internet access. You can run those with an air card. It ain't that hard, guys. We can get it done. We can do it for you. Just get a hold of us. We'll be glad to do it. Come set you up. But look at these calves out of Fallon, Nevada. Now, I tell you what, that is the desert, guys. It's the desert, and it's a long way to anywhere from there. You know, there's some rain over there in California. They had California buyers, but it's quite a ways over there to some of those pastures in California. It's a hell of a long ways coming over here back east into the Midwest. But a calf quote on some really nice calves there in Fallon, Nevada. 62 head, weighed 490 pound steers, bring $185. And that's as good as they bring about anywhere, guys. Way out there, way out west there. How about Winter Livestock Auction in Winter, South Dakota? 60 head of 706 pound steer calves, bring $175. How about Lexington Livestock Market in Lexington, Nebraska? Big long string of yearling steers, 360 head, weighed 853 pounds at $164.75. But the best quote that I saw anywhere in your Zach Tran top quote for the day come from a Feeder Flash Gang member. We're likely not to see a quote this high for quite a while here, but you got to give credit where credit's due. NFO Livestock, Manchester, Iowa. That's eastern Iowa, guys. Sells 66 head, 528 pound fancy steer calves, $2.29 a pound. And that's your Feeder Flash for Monday.